I am down that much money today. But I did hit 31k subs. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. You have to get in the Discord. Habibi made over $350,000 in the last like 2 weeks, I believe. He had a crazy week last week. All of his trades called out live. Plus, you get to trade with me and him as well, and Tells, all live, talking to us all the time, ask us any questions, all my recorded content, all my recorded seminars, and more coming. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Please subscribe. We're growing fast. I ain't gonna lie. I need to get to 100k, but I ain't gonna say nothing. Dude, the trades I took today were bangers. Trump just got elected yesterday, so everybody's super hype. You know, everybody, I thought we were going super bullish. I thought the market was just gonna go green all day. Kind of did, but the market this morning was so bad. I'll put up a picture of the chop that I witnessed. That is on a high time frame too. I'm actually so disappointed in Trump for doing this. He's supposed to be the money man. He's supposed to be Mr. Business, and he actually shafted me today more than Joe Biden ever did. I took absolute cash trades today. Every single trade I took, which was 2 banger trades, super solid. But everybody sees that number and says how much I'm down, and then, you know, it obviously looks super crazy, like I lost so much. But when you realize that I have so many accounts, per account, it's not bad, okay? But it's definitely bad to think about the big picture, but we don't have to worry about that because we're just looking at every single account. It is a lot of money, but it's not as bad as it looks. So both the trades I took were both off the 2-minute today. You guys know I love the 2-minute. I use my 8 EMA. I use my 200 EMA on the 2-minute time frame, and it is so cash every single time. So this is right before market opened up. What I did, automatically went on the 4-hour, drew out this high, drew out this low on the 4-hour. So this is something I'm talking about before. I've talked about this a lot. Okay, so when we're on the 4-hour, we're looking for our daily highs and lows. Drew this out. What I like to look for is a way to minimize my zones if it's possible. So if there's a 4-hour zone and I can reduce it on the 1 hour, I'll always like to do that. So in this case right here, we have this ginormous bottom wick. You guys see how big this is? This is something that's super impactful. Price never even got to get to it. But when you do look at actually how important this was as a low and still is going forward, it is 200 points. The only problem is that I can't trade off of that. Meaning I should go on the hourly and see if I can find an opportunity to find a nice bottom wick to actually chart out. Guess what? Boom, came in right there. And I kind of messed it up a little bit right there. But see, this goes from a 200-point zone for me to trade off of, which is extremely hard, to now a 90-point zone to trade off of, which is a lot easier to manage. And you still are getting the maximized point of the move. So if anytime you can refine your zones, please always go and do it. And notice how this was the same as on the 4-hour high as it is on the hourly. That we just keep it the same. And then same thing for these lows. I messed this one up as well, but you guys get the picture. Now you guys understand. And now that I have my 4-hour and my 1-hour highs and lows marked out, we now go on the shorter time frames during the day. I put on my Sigma chart, my 6 times chart, which I don't want it. I'll put it up anyways. I go like this. I put all my charts up on all my time frames and I just watch price. But right now we're just looking at the 2-minute time frame because this is what we traded off of. But you guys can see going into pre-market, we were really bullish, looking really good for longs. This is a healthy bullish move for me. Again, I'm always someone who will say I like to see this more than this. This is a natural, healthy, bullish uptrend. This is something happened. Someone may have died, or right as market opens up, we have this really nice sell-off, and that's okay. I like to see a sell-off. This is the same exact setup I had as yesterday, or not yesterday, last week. There was a day when pre-market was bullish, price came in super bearish off open, finally waited for low of day to get creative. We see some buys come in. We jumped in for longs, and we took a nice TP and caught a really good exit as well. So this is the same exact thing that I saw here. My eyes were pretty much repeating exactly what happened previously. So what you want to do is I was feeling my bias for the day was longs. That's exactly how I felt. You guys see market closed up 0.5%, which is really good. That is meaning that my bias played out going into the day. I thought we were going to see longs, and we did see longs, just not when we got into them. But what happened here was we finally found this low, boom, right here. We waited for this 2-minute candle to close, and then boom, we made this low. So initially, this is what my entry, okay? So we entered in at this candle close. What I like about this is we pretty much inversed the sell we just had. We made a very strong low. You guys see we made this low right here. Price bought back into it, bought right up with a lot of momentum, very little top wick, waited for the candle to close to verify that I was still looking for a really good entry and that the bulls were actually here to play. The confirmation is in the candle close on the 2-minute time frame. Boom, see that? Jump in right there. Jumped in at the candle close. SL was at low of day. TP was at the 200 EMA for me. It originally was all the way up to this high, but then I realized we do have a fair value gap here, which you guys know I don't do this. I don't like to trade fair value gaps, but I did see that. So I just targeted the 200 EMA. This was a positive RR trade. You guys know I don't go for anything really over 2 ever. Most of the time it's just 1.2 to 1.4 to 1.5. In this case, this was a profitable RR trade, so we go ahead and take it. And you see we actually made this low right here. At that point, I didn't move it up just yet, but we got over 40 points in profit, I believe, on this. And at that point, I actually moved my SL up to here. now making my RR 2.6, which is great. And I was only willing to risk it that much. Once we got up to 40 points in profit, I was not dealing with that. But you guys can see right here, we got very close to our TP. I was looking at this 200 EMA as a potential tap. I believe my order was at 680 flat. Then once we made this high, I went, okay, I'm going to move my SL2 here because you guys see now that we have smaller drawdown, we can still afford to do that. This is still a 2.3 RR trade. You guys know I like to trade off of price levels. Any trade that I always take has a price level exit. It's not just exiting at 30 points to exit at 30 points. It's always at a certain price level. Now that I see that we made a high, I'm going to go ahead and target that. And unfortunately, we never came back. We got extremely close. And at that point, I actually set my SL to break even. But you guys are going to see this next candle. It dropped like 30 points in one tick and basically stopped me out at my SL, which is okay. I wasn't too mad again. I'm glad you look at that. I'm glad we moved it up. But we actually would have held right there. But at that point, I got out of the trade. I was okay because we had a really good setup. Everything that happened that I wanted to see. Our initial trade was right here, you guys. We had a nice close. And then what do we see after that? We see buying in our drawdown. Once again, bottom weight closing here. Buying in our drawdown. And again, price comes all the way up to here. Buys up, almost hits our TP. Almost hits our TP again, and then just sold off. So that point, you kind of just brushed off your shoulders. I felt great. The trade we took played out. We had a really nice opportunity to catch buys. Buys happened. Just didn't hit our TP. Got extremely close. And on my eyes, I didn't have a set specific TP points. That could be something that I should look at in the future. But from an entry standpoint, everything I wanted to see there. Candle close. I wanted to see buying in my drawdown, and I want to see a nice continuation off my entry. All those hit. Just trend outplayed itself. And that's kind of what you get when you play against it, because we were seeing a lot of consistently buys today. Like we'd see a lot of buys over time, but then we'd see these huge entries of sells, huge sells happening in a shorter amount of time, but they actually ended up taking control. So at this point, this is where it gets bad, man, because this trade was my favorite trade I've taken in a long time. So you guys understand, right now we actually have a low of day created. This is our low of day right here, boom. So we're gonna go ahead and chart this out just so you guys can see this visually. Guess what happens here? Let me know if you guys are taking entry here or not. Ready for this? So we obviously have this candle coming out and into it. We're seeing buys off of the low again. We're seeing more buys coming up here. Obviously it's not trumping the trend, but we're seeing that buyers are in this area clearly. Boom, candle closes here. Watch this shit. Breaks below the low, comes back up and closes above with no top wick at all. Are you fucking serious right now? You're not taking that trade? I'm taking this trade every single day. If I was in a world where no one knew who I was, I would full port this shit. So at that point, we see, holy shit, we just swept low of day. We had this low being created. We saw sells come underneath it, instantly buying back above, closing bullish with barely any top wick. SL at the bottom of the low, TP at the previous high we just made. This is literally a plus setup, and we ended up just chopping in this bit for 10 minutes. But again, another perfect example of watch what happens here. We come back up, and then we just drop off. But look at that. This is such an amazing thing to see. This was the candle that did it right here. This candle right here, I knew my demise was coming in. But you guys know, once you actually are in a trade, I really preach to not mess with anything, because that's when you let emotions get in the way. This candle is highly emotional for someone who's in long seeing this. It is a great entry for shorts. You have to have that great mix of hindsight and also, realism, because yes, you could see this and say, okay, shorts look good, I'm going to exit here. But God forbid this turns around, then you let trades emotion yourself. And then obviously we had a lot of buying underneath this, so I was still really confident. But you guys see, after this candle came in, we actually got stopped out on this. But everything we wanted to see played out perfectly here. We had a perfect entry. We waited. This entry was better because we waited for confirmation of a break below the low, buying back up, closing above the low, SL at the bottom of that wick. Entering at the candle close, TP at this previous high we just made. Price just got up to there. And then you just see price chopping. We got up above, broke back below, huge bottom wick off the previous low. So there's still a lot of buyers here. Then guess what? Next candle, same exact thing. Huge bottom wick off the low. Candle closes again. Super bullish candles. Those are two extremely bullish candles. That shows me that there are so many buyers trying to hold this up because this is the last leg of defense. Next candle, pretty bullish again. Next candle, finally get a back into profit, comes right back down, closes below, super bearish, no bottom wick at all, giant top wick, and then we just see a huge momentum of sells. Buyers got exhausted, and price ended up dropping even below. But I believe this got underneath it and then came right back up. Buyers still holding this low of day, by the way, coming back up, pushing up. Guess what? Buyers still holding. Holy crap. I didn't get to see this. Buyers still holding. This is a super crazy low, and we didn't hit TP on it. Doesn't that just suck? But man, it is so embarrassing and so unfortunate that I lost that much money off these two amazing trades. Price action was horrible. That is the one thing I saw a lot of people took L's to today, and I hope you're not one of them. But please understand, and everybody's seeing inside my Discord where I trade live every day, taking these trades with me, understand that this is all managed risk. Everything that we do going forward, you should expect to lose, so you can understand the magnitude of the situation you're in. People love to take trades and realize after the trade happened how much they lost or how bad it feels. You need to make sure that you know exactly how much you're going to lose every single time you take a trade. I'm comfortable with these because I'm taking high probability setups in my eyes. I'm risking the money that I would like to risk. I'm keeping my position size in check. I'm not letting emotions affect my trades. I'm waiting for confirmation of candle closes, and I'm setting my price targets and my stop loss at actual price levels. These are all things that you have to do every single day to make sure that you are just trading with no outside factors at all. Everything is systematic for me. Everything is something that I do the same exact thing every single day, and I know in the big picture I will always come out on top. That is the problem with everybody, is they get so tunnel visioned on the current day or the current week and how you're doing. It doesn't matter, man, because guess what? 8 months from now, I'm not going to care about how I did in December on January 21st, man. It won't matter to me because I'll be doing so well and I'll be doing the same exact thing I'm doing now then. And I promise you, over that span of time, it's going to end up averaging out. I've said this before in my mentorship. Statistically, if a man flips a coin 100 times, there is a very close perception that it will be within, 55 or 50% heads and tails. But guess what? There will be weeks, there will be days, there will be so many times in a row where the coin may land on tails 8 times in a row, but then it could do the same exact thing for heads. So don't get in this thing that you might have 8 red days in a row and you're cooked. No, because over time you can have that same amount of opportunity to the green side. As long as you are trading correctly, it's going to come in a random order. It's not going to be green day, red day, green, 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 red, red, red. It's going to be red, 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 green, 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 red, green, red, green, red, 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 green, 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 until the time is over. Then you can look back and reflect on how you're doing. You have to make sure you have that long-term mindset in mind, and you have to make sure you're sizing up correctly, because that is going to be the thing. I had someone tell me that they had a $1,000 futures account and they lost $350 in a day. Brother, what? How do you even do that? And how do you even have a futures account with $1,000? I don't know, but you have to look at these accounts and make sure that you are trading with their correct position size, and you are trading so that your mental does not get affected by your trades. Every single time you take a trade, calculate how much you're going to lose, calculate how much you're going to win, and make sure that that is every single time. So after the fact, when it's over, you can't be mad at your loss. You can't, because everything is calculated before you take a good trade. You hit your checklist, and now you're doing great. But imagine me in my position taking 2 amazing trades in my eyes and being down $17,000 because of it. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with the market. It's going to favor me sometimes. It's going to hate me sometimes. But again, I know over the year, over this long term, I'm going to be totally fine because I'm so confident in what I do. And these trades were A+ setups. They're not going to play at 100%. This isn't a money glitch. Sometimes they're just not going to go my way. But tomorrow, I guarantee they will. I love you guys so much. Join the Discord if you want to talk to me more. I love you guys. Thank you so much for everything. Please subscribe. I'll see you guys later.